गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गाना शॉट। गाना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। India is finishing 2025 on a very strong note, and that's despite the headwinds. We all know where the headwinds are coming from. They're coming obviously from these three people who are there on my thumbnail. There's no doubt about it. But they have not mattered. We've done a war. We have had a war in 2025, which we won hands down militarily. And I think the major thing is we won the peace after that. You won the whole story politically, not in the information sphere. Don't look at it from the information sphere. And I'll elucidate this. Just think. After Op Sindoor, India's economy is galloping. Everyone wants to do deals with India. X, Y, Z. What's happening in Pakistan after Op Sindoor? They're in turmoil. Their problems with Balochistan have increased. Their problems with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has increased. Their problems with Afghanistan have increased. They have no water. Their economy is down, and so they say that war is an extension of politics, and politics is an extension of war. If you go by that, what's happened in our politics and our everything, our economy and everything, indicates that Op Sindoor was a success. You analyze Pakistan, where it is, you understand how they lost. And of course, the tariffs. For whatever reason, Mr. Trump has singled out India for the maximum tariffs 50%. No other country in the world has got that. And then we are supposed to be the strategic partner. Just think our own strategic partner has put up barriers of trade, barriers of movement, and everything. But if you discount these two issues, and of course, China is always there. China is always there to put up a spoke with or without Pakistan, with or without USA, with or without Bangladesh, and things like that. Bangladesh is not a headwind, it's an irritant. We'll handle it. We have done well. And we'll go over it. And then, of course, next year, early first, we'll see what's there in India's story, along with the other two good generals. Let's get going with today's story. You know, I had a podcast with John Helmer a few days back, and he'd come to Delhi, and I said, "Look, let's talk about India, AU, all that." Of course, we went all around the world and spoke about everything and all that. But just listen to what he said in the first 2 minutes of our discussion. I asked him, "How do you find Delhi and how do you find India and things like that?" And this is what he had to say, right?
Personal point of view, this was my first real time in India. I'd spent lots of time in Delhi airport on my way to different places. I'd spent it in the back a long time ago, time in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, during the government of Prime Minister Jayavardhana. And I was on World Bank advisory mission in Lahore. So I'd been on either side, you might say, of India, but never the central kingdom, so to speak. And this was eye-opening, especially the timing now. I'd have to say that while we'll come back to this in a minute, while the European and American communities are engaged in a sort of losing war of the civilizations, a losing war for world trade, a losing war on the battlefield. What struck me in my meetings with Indian colleagues and friends was that extremely high level of confidence, professional competence in the Indian role for the future. personal point of view.
So he says, look, I was especially struck by the high level of confidence and professional competence amongst Indians professionals for India's role in the future. Okay, that's something. And this man is not young. He's not a spring chicken. He's about 80 years old. He's gone all over. He was in the Carter administration at some point of time. He spent 20 years in Moscow. That's his home now. He's been to Lahore. He's been to Sri Lanka. I mean, in the vicinity. He spent a lot of time in Australia and all over Europe. In fact, he came to India after releasing his book in Germany, in German. And he says that he's struck by the confidence in India. Listen.
In a minute. Um, while the European and American communities are engaged in a sort of losing war of the civilizations, a losing war for world trade, a losing war on the battlefield. What struck me in my meetings with Indian colleagues and friends was that extremely high level of confidence, professional competence in the Indian role for the future. I don't, pardon me for saying this, but I don't often go into realms or in countries where there is quite so much justification for hope for the future.
He says, I don't go often to countries where there is hope for justification for the future. And for him, India was an exception. Right?
But I would have to say that Delhi and Indian sentiment is more hopeful for the future than I'm used to seeing or used to be exposed to. And I'm very grateful for that because I was getting rather depressed.
So he says, I was grateful to what I saw in Delhi because overall, in my travels, I found it very depressing. And that is telling. I keep telling everyone, oh, well, we don't know. We don't know how good we are. Yeah, there'll always be problems in a country like us. We will always have a problem. There's no doubt. And I can keep talking of problems from here till the North Pole. That's the easiest thing to do. Let's see what's good. Let's build on the good. Let's build on optimism rather than pessimism. Rather than the no, we should celebrate 2025 based on our successes and hope for of success in future, and not based on the pessimism of failure. Right? So I think this is what I thought I'll start my story with today. Let's get ahead. What is important in this thing where that Asia Power Index which has come out? Of course, US is the biggest power, China is the biggest power, and you see India. What does it say about India? Right? The interesting thing is today the world sees India as a major power. It's not a middle power anymore. We've crossed the barrier of being a middle power. We're not at a superpower, but we are a major power. And my bet, this is the only major power besides USA and thing, and the rest are all middle powers, including Germany, France, all. There's no other major power. Even Russia doesn't come into the region of in the classification of major powers. So why are we cribbing? Why are we bothered about? I mean, I wouldn't say bothered. Why are we not looking at it positively? It beats me. Look at this fellow, CEO of Blackstone. And I'll not play this video fully. I just want to highlight. He says this is the growth of 20, in 24, last year. And look at the other countries where they are puny. And if this was 8.2, this is just think if it was 8.2, you had about 3.5 times of Italy, your growth. Change in India is happening at some pace. Okay. I can, if you want to.
Third stop, leaving the United States here. India. This is the G10, clearly the fastest growing country. There's been some.
Clearly the fastest growing country. There's no doubt about it. Last quarter, we were at 8.2%. Our manufacturing is up, services are up by nearly double digits. Yes, we have headroom to grow in manufacturing. These things don't happen overnight. They'll take time. Be patient. Nothing is going to happen in between. World War III is not going to happen in India. Put your head down, think, move ahead. There's a lot to do, lot to look forward to. I see it. I see this change in this country. And what I've seen in the past 3 years, 4 years, is something which I've never seen before. And mind you, my life, I must confess this. I retired at a very senior rank in the army. There's only one more rank left after ahead of me. Okay, and and when I left, there were only 3 officers who were senior to me in service or IC number and all that, whom I could call sir in the Indian Army. One was the chief, second was the vice chief, and the adjutant general. Even the vice chief actually was my junior, Bipin Rawat, because we had been friends for long. There was just one more officer who was senior to me in IC number, whom traditionally we say they're my senior. The rest were all my juniors. Pretty senior. Lot of facilities, lot of everything. But surprisingly, and that was 2016, 8 years have passed. In fact, 9 years have passed. This will be the 10th year. I see life has improved from what it was then to now. And I had all the facilities, everything then. That's the thing. That's what people need to understand. And that's good for all of you who are young. And it gives me great satisfaction that what we couldn't get, our children are getting. Something fantastic. And I saw this amongst the top economies. Have a look at it a little closer. Amongst the top economies, India is the fastest growing over a 10-year period. 10-year period. Not 1, 2, 3 years. And you've beaten China. And that you've beaten China, which was once upon a time the fastest growing economy and all that. You're better than them over a 10-year period from 2015 to 2025. There is something happening in this nation which we need to understand. Right? Everyone says $1 equivalent to 90 INR. What is this nonsense? Our economy is weakening. Do you know that China has kept its yuan absolutely pegged low? It doesn't let the yuan go up. Unnaturally low. Why? Because its exports are enabled. Look at this.
Breaking news everywhere. The rupee just touched 90 to the dollar. So here's the real question. Is this a sign of economic weakness? Or is it actually the result of a deliberate choice? If you think a country should do 3 things at once, keep its currency stable, control interest rates at home, and allow money to flow freely across borders, it sounds reasonable, right? Except economics has a brutal rule. You can only pick 2. This is called the impossible trinity. If you fix your currency and allow free capital flows, you lose control over the interest rates. That's what Hong Kong does. If you want free capital and control interest rates, your currency must move. That's what India does. So when global dollars strengthen or foreign investors pull money out, the rupee absorbs the shock instead of interest rates exploding overnight. And here's the part most headlines miss. A weaker rupee isn't just pain, it is also a price discount on Indian exports. Indian software, pharma, textiles, manufacturing, they all become cheaper for global buyers. That helps exporters earn more rupees, support jobs, and cushions growth when the world slows down. It's not a crisis signal, it's a pressure wall. So the rupee at 90 isn't a failure, it's the cost of choosing flexibility over control. Every economy picks two. India picked growth flexibility.
I go with him completely. Let me tell you my personal thing. You know, YouTube pays us in all creators in dollars. For the same number of dollars I'm earning, my I get more rupees in my bank just because of this. So I have no grip. Of course, as of today, it's not 90, it's come down to 89.9. In the beginning of the year, it was from 82, 83 thing. So it's not something which worries me. So what's the problem? Okay, let's get ahead. Let's look at something. This is a very interesting explanation which tells you indirectly what's the strength of India. This is about the oil price impact on India and then versus now. Have a look at it, see his logic, and I'll get back.
But in July 2008, for reasons that were completely separate from financial markets, oil price hit a peak of $148 a barrel. Keep this math in your head. India had just become a $1 trillion economy then.
I remember still 148 rupees, $148 per barrel. And the government of the day then, 2008, 2009, that is Manmohan Singh's government, absorbed. People cursed the Manmohan Singh government and corruption. They absorbed it. And we just had a GDP of $1 trillion. Okay? I'm not for that government. They did a lot of bad things, but they did a good thing also. We could absorb 148, a price tag of $148 per barrel then.
And how much oil were we importing? On a net basis, we were importing 900 million barrels of oil. Now at $148 into 900 million, that is $140 billion was our annualized import bill in the month of July 2008. Nobody on the planet will fund 14% of your GDP.
Yeah.
Because that was 14%.
Yeah.
And so we crashed. We had to. The rupee had to go down, interest rates had to go up, and stock markets had to react to this. So that was our situation then. In the last 10 years, we have completely transformed this. And it's a story that even the government doesn't advertise, which is that our oil dependency has gone down by almost 60%.
See, just think. Today, oil is $60 a barrel. Less than half. We're at 40%. You have to pay 40% lesser for the same oil, and you have a capacity of $4 trillion GDP. इसको क्या बोलना है हम बताएंगे. For the past 2 years, I'm paying the same amount at the petrol pump, and it's affordable.
Trailing 12 months, India imported 1.7 billion barrels of oil net on a $4 trillion economy. So our economy has quadrupled since 2008. Our oil import bill is up 80%. Now, oil is, of course, at $60, but let's assume it goes to 140.
Yeah.
Right? 140 into 1.7 billion barrels will get us to about an oil import bill of $325-330 billion, which in a really worst case scenario will still only be about 6% of our GDP. So even if oil went back there, which it is not going, oil is no longer consequential to our current account.
Just think of this maths. If the oil was at 148 as then, at that time it was 14% of your GDP. Now it is just 6% if it is 148, but actually it is less. So what is it? Your energy bill from all this is just about 2.5% of your GDP. See the differential with why is that happened? That's your strength. If the oil market fluctuates, it doesn't affect you much. Yeah, there will be some price rise. We'll pay some 3-4 rupees more, and we'll crib and all that. But look at the internal strength of the economy. That a price rise and the fluctuation in the oil thing doesn't affect you. And mind you, we are actually getting oil lesser than 60 because you're getting it from Russia. I don't know the price, discounted oil must be about 25% to 10%, which means let's say average is 50. So one third of 6% is 2%. So your oil bill is only 2%. Where are you? Where is this? See the change in the strength of the economy. Okay, this happened. We are ending 2025 on this high, and no one can take this away. वो है ना, वो शाहरुख खान बोलता है वो पिक्चर में, ये वक्त आपका है, कोई ले नहीं सकता आपसे. कौन सा पिक्चर? हॉकी वाला पिक्चर. There's a quiz. Please tell me what's the name of the quiz movie.
But in July,
And then look at this guy. He's Israeli. He's come to India after 3 years. What does he say? I showed this earlier, but I'm showing it today again.
When I saw India 3 years ago and India today, it's not the same India. You folks have your act together. You're scaling so rapidly. You're laying infrastructure for growth for decades. And I love what I see. I love what I see.
So there's an explosion of infrastructure, right? I go with what he says, one of two. I'm seeing a lot of tall buildings coming up in Pune in my area. My only concern is that city infrastructure won't be able to keep up with it. That's a concern. I agree with you 100%. 2000%, in fact. Yeah, we will have problems in this growth. That's the challenge for us. One of the challenges for us is internal growth. But we have to find answers. You can't say we'll not grow. If you don't grow, फिर तो चाइना आ जाएगा, वो बैठ जाएगा पुणे में और तुम्हारा बाकरवाड़ी कालेगा, है ना? अगर उसको संघर्ष करना है, यू टू ग्रो. अगर ग्रोथ के साथ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी बढ़ेगा, ऐसी बात नहीं है. I'll tell you one more example, and I read it today or yesterday, in Chennai, my own city. The bus service in Chennai is probably one of the best bus services all over India. And they've introduced over 1,000 EVs. How did they introduce EVs in the bus services? Through a loan, private-public partnership. I don't know the details, but they've done it. They've expanded the bus services, kept the rates cheap so that mass transportation increases. With the mass transportation of bus service, in fact, if you go on Chennai in any road at any given time, you'll see 2 to 3 buses in front of you. That's the frequency of buses in Chennai. There is a metro, 2 metro lines. In the next 3 years, there are going to be 8 metro lines. Mass transport. Why? To ensure that petrol consumption goes down. But is that happening? No. Why? Because people are becoming more affluent and the number of vehicles on the streets are increasing. We are not able to cope up with that. We have different problems. I go with them. Infrastructure is a problem. We have to do more. I agree. But it's not as if we are not trying. It's not as if the governments don't know. Maybe one state is doing better, one state is doing lesser. But eventually they'll catch up. Look at this man. He is the CEO of Airbus. What does he say?
I was in India and I spent 1 week there, and I was completely blown away by the level of excellence, engineering excellence, quality in India. For Airbus, India is a strategic long-term partner. And part of the discussions was not only how can you make things cheaper for us, but actually how can we make things better by leveraging the capability.
So look at that. The Airbus CEO says there is talent here. How do you make things better? Engineering talent, industry, everything. They have to, because this is the fastest growing aviation sector in the world today. In India, you have this Udan scheme, and it's working. Forget the fact that Indigo muffed it. That's a different story. So we have to understand what we are going through. देखो एक कुएं के मेंढक होता है ना, कुएं के मेंढक is a frog in the well. He doesn't know anything beyond his well. We shouldn't be frogs in the well. That's why I radiate outside. Anyway, let's listen.
Abilities of Indian technology and the tech talents there. It was part of the discussions how to evolve the partnership with India. And by the way, I think the situation offers unique opportunities for Europe. I'm very bullish on India.
Do you think it will surpass China?
That's for him to answer. I think the ambition, which I sensed,
I'll tell you
the ambition on the entrepreneurial level was beyond what I heard everywhere in the world before on the entrepreneurial level lately. Because
he says entrepreneurial level ambition is beyond what I've heard anywhere else in the world. Connect with what this man is saying, connect with what John Helmer says. And then he says, will we overtake China? I'm sure we will. It will happen. It won't happen tomorrow. It's going to happen down the line. You'll read Chinese literature. They say today India is 15 to 20 years behind China. I don't agree with them. We're just about half a decade to a decade away. And that gap is closing. And I'll explain to you tomorrow why this gap is closing. You have to understand something else. You don't need the level of Chinese infrastructure to beat China. And I'll explain it to you tomorrow. And this is IMF, the chief of IMF, what she has to say. She said this a month or two back. But in a month or two, things have only improved in India, not gone back. And look at what she says.
India is one of the fastest growing economies, and given its size, it contributes to global growth substantially. India is where it is because it has pursued very significant reforms. Tax reform, investing in infrastructure, digital infrastructure, but also roads, connectivity in the country. And that has injected this growth potential.
So, reforms. And full marks to this government. I might find fault with them. I do find fault with them. Hell of a lot. But at the macro level, things are going in the right direction. I mean, I can vouch for it. There's a major, like I keep telling you people, at times my electricity goes off. And in fact, my sewerage also has problems. Because I can't show you the sewerage, isn't it? But you can feel my electricity going off. Because of that metro station next to my house. And when that metro station comes up from my house, which is just about 50 meters away from that station, I can go anywhere in Chennai. 3 years from now. They tell me. These chaps keep coming, I keep talking to them. So there is change. I can feel that pulse of change. And this change is being felt all around the globe. Believe you me, if Chinese have changed their idea about India, it is that change is not happening at the LAC. It is happening at the LAC. I'll speak to you tomorrow about that. It is happening in Chennai. It is happening in Satara. It is happening in Pune. It is happening in Aligarh. It is happening in Difu in Agartha, Assam. It is happening in Tripura. Don't get sidetracked by these Bengalis and Bangladeshis and the Pakistanis. They can live.
India.
Okay, Global centers, enablement centers, GCCs. Well, most of the world is here. You're the king. They'll not go to China. So the future of research is here. Naturally, those chaps will never, give their technology to you. But people who are there, who spend 2, 3 years, will get ideas, come out, start their own startups. What is the thing which the government should say? Okay, look, so many global capability centers are there. Uh, First, they get jobs. Young chaps are getting jobs. That's why they're coming here. One, and then as say 3, 4 years from now, have a better startup system where these guys, after spending 3, 4 years in the global capability centers, get ideas. You can't stop that idea. And these chaps have made that technology. They'll come out and make technology. They'll come out. After all, what these global capability centers are all about, they're about building infrastructure, building systems, building services. Like Lloyd's has for insurance, their insurance intelligence setup. So if Lloyd's has an insurance intelligence setup here, the guys there after 2 years will come out, or someone will get a bright idea, I'll start something here. I'm just giving you some ideas. And we'll move. Today we might not be the top 10 or top 2 or top this thing, but you're there. You're fastest growing. And this growth is just not a matter of making money. It's a matter of increasing your depth. Look at this.
Can India save the German automotive industry? Can India save the German automotive industry? India has almost 1.5 billion inhabitants, and it has become the world's third largest car market after China and the US. But for German car manufacturers, the Indian market is anything but easy.
We are in downtown Chennai, a city with 6.5 million inhabitants. It's rush hour, and we see a lot of cars on the streets, but there is hardly any German car.
Volkswagen, Germany's biggest car maker, has a market share of only 2%. Domestic and Asian brands dominate the roads. For German car makers, India could be a beacon of hope because their sales are shrinking elsewhere, especially in China.
So there's a fact. All the German car makers have no choice but to come to India. They have a plant in BMW plant in Chennai, in the Mahindra World City here. And they make 60 or 80 cars in a month. Not 66, yeah? 60, 80 cars in a day, I think. Yeah, 60 to 80 cars in a day, which is nothing. Go to the Ashok Leyland factory, tuck, 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 they come out. Because there are no sales here. Why will they buy? Why should India buy German cars? Let me ask the flip question. India should buy Indian cars. Or Germany should sell cars made for India. It's like that McDonald's. McDonald's, when they came here, they were very costly. They used to set this, that, and all. Abhi the McDonald's will sell Mac Aloo, Mac Paneer for Indian customers at Indian rates. It will come down. Should we save their auto industry? Why should I save his auto industry? I should save my own auto industry. So there's competition. And they have no choice. There's the market. Aspiring population is here. China is finished. We discussed China yesterday. And again, from yesterday to today, the number of articles I've got, can you imagine Xi Jinping is worried that why don't Chinese consume? You think Modi is worried that you and I consume or not? Modi is thinking of something else. But Xi Jinping says, yaar, China wale, mere log, why are they not spending? How will they spend? You're not giving them enough wage. You're taking their money and giving it to the chap who's producing it. And that fellow, what does he do? He doesn't give you top class items. He gives you cheap stuff, unreliable stuff. He takes money from you for that. So, that's the difference. And we know this is Francis Fukuyama. Francis Fukuyama at the end of the Cold War wrote end of history. Here the world is flat, there's one pole, this is the end of history. USA is the greatest power. That book, if you read that book, it's very interesting. I read it then. What is he saying today? He's saying what he's telling Trump, what are you doing? Listen to him.
Well, it's very hard to find an actual principle underlying Trump's foreign policy other than personal self-interest. For example, the United States has been trying to cultivate a good relationship with India as a counterweight to China. We've been doing this for the last 20, 30 years. Donald Trump really threw that away because Prime Minister Modi, Indian Prime Minister Modi, wouldn't support his bid for a Nobel Peace Prize. And so he's basically subordinated American national interests to his personal vanity. And I think that anyone hoping to see a consistent thread in any of his actions is going to have a lot of trouble doing that.
Right? So he's very clear. He's very clear. He's criticizing Trump for going against India. I mean, I just picked him up because he's the latest. Before this, whole lot of people have said, what are you doing? But they're doing what they want to do. You can't stop them, no? But look at the future. At some point of time, they'll say, yaar, ye to humne galti kar diya, we have to go back to India. Let them come, we'll then deal with them at our terms. Okay, that is the issue. And then look at it, look at this Pakistani. Just think the identity crisis which Pakistani have. Yesterday only I spoke, of Pakistanis. No one wants to know that they are Pakistanis. This is what he says. They were disgusted when they found out I am a Pakistani.
नहीं ये हमें कोई स्पेशल ट्रीट किया जाता है डी ग्रेड किस्म का इंडियंस को उनकी तो वैल्यू है ठीक हो गया उनकी वैल्यू है अब सबसे बड़ी बात को पता है दुबई ने पाकिस्तान के वीजे बंद कर दिए पाकिस्तान को ब्लैकलिस्ट कर दिया ऐसे ही है कभी आपने सुना किसी मुल्क ने इंडियंस के वीजे बंद किए हो
So just think Pakistanis can't go to Dubai. They're beggars, they're being thrown out. This is a Pakistani saying, just think, see, listen to him.
2008 से onwards कुवैत एक मुस्लिम स्टेट है उसने पाकिस्तानियों के वीजे बंद किए हुए हैं ठीक है इंडियंस के किए हैं उसने नहीं जब भी मुस्लिम कंट्रीज जो है वो एक मुस्लिम कंट्री पाकिस्तान के वीजे बंद कर रही है यहाँ से आप अपने पासपोर्ट की वर्थ देख लें ठीक है मतलब दूसरे यूरोप कंट्रीज की बात करें तो वो तो और ही कहीं साइड पे बात जाती है और सबसे बड़ी बात ये एक और बात जी कुछ जगह में मैंने नोट किया मुझे वहां पे वो इज्जत दे रहे थे ठीक है और जब उन्होंने मुझसे पूछ ही लिया ना कि कहाँ से हो जब मैंने बोला ना पाकिस्तान तो उनके मैंने चेहरे के तासर देखे वो ही बदल गए और जब उनके चेहरे के तासर बदल गए ना जैसे उन्हें बड़ी शर्मिंदगी सी हो रही यार ये पाकिस्तान में से इंडियन समझ रहे थे अच्छा वो मुझे इंडियन समझ के ट्रीट वेल कर रहे थे जब उन्हें चला आई एम पाकिस्तानी तो यार उनके चेहरे के थोड़ा सा तासर ही बदल गए जब उनके तासर बदले ना तो मेरे इमोशन ही टूट गए
That's the way, that's how it is. Just think what must be going on with Pakistanis. Their mental state. As it is, 33% of Pakistanis are neurotic. वैसे ही पागल हैं वो. When this happens, और भी पागल हो जाएंगे. See, we have to know where we are. That's why I said, this is the end. ये देखो, ऑप सिंदूर के बाद क्या हुआ इनका हालत? पागल हो गए. And look at India's influence. This is something which you must see. There's a Singaporean guy who's talking of it.
How did India influence the development or evolution of Singapore?
Singapore per se was probably not as deep, but India's influence, civilizational influence, as you call it, on Southeast Asia was quite profound. You think of religion, Hinduism, Buddhism, it spread from India to parts of Southeast Asia and influence.
So you have influence. This is a Chinese guy who settled in Singapore who's talking. He's a professor in one of those universities. He's talking of Indian influence in Southeast Asia, not only in Singapore. And there's a discussion between two Chinese, free-minded, not the communist variety.
Culture, literature, architecture of major parts of Southeast Asia. Look at Borobudur, look at Angkor Wat. All these were influenced by Indian religions. Buddhism became very prominent in places like Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. And then, of course, languages, Sanskrit, and literature, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. I think.
Just think, he's very clearly talking of Ramayana and Mahabharata. I mean, the influence is huge.
Continues to be sort of performed in different parts of Indonesia, although it's kind of adapted to more Southeast Asian flavors. In terms of Singapore, basically it was the trading of the place, and the regional dynamics when the Cholas.
So he's talking of Cholas, Cheras, Pandavas, and all that in this, right? So we have a huge culture which was submerged. Now, as you go up the value chain, as your economy starts going up, everything, all these things will come. They're force multipliers. They're multiplying your force. What do they convey? Trust. Trust an Indian. You can't trust a Chinese. You can't trust a Pakistani. You can't trust an American too. Okay. So you have to understand how things are happening. Look at Sri Lanka. Complete turnaround. Okay. This comes from a lady in Sri Lanka. What does she say? She says in 2022, during the height of economic crisis, Dr. Jaishankar flew down to Colombo and met the locals who were in fuel queues for hours. He did what no Sri Lankan politician was ready to do at that time and checked on the fuel crisis. And he goes on to say, as we struggle to recover from Ditwa, it is only India which has come with us. The recovery of Sri Lanka is huge. Some time back, this same Sri Lanka was in the grip of China. They're still struggling with China because they owe China a hell of a lot of money. But China will still enter Sri Lanka. They will be active in Sri Lanka. But you have a trusted friend in Sri Lanka. You have to help him get away from China. Same thing happened in Maldives. Same thing is happening in Nepal. If you play your cards well, because that lady Sushila was a Supreme Court judge who's now the interim Prime Minister of Nepal, who's going to get elections conducted. If you help her, Nepal will be completely in your grip. Bhutan is in your grip already. Where Bhutan is well in this thing. Afghanistan has given you a huge opening today. Trust. Of course, Pakistan chodo, Bangladesh bhi chodo. They're gone. Deal with Bangladesh and Pakistan with a danda. There's no doubt on that. But see the change which has happened. I never imagined that Sri Lanka, the flip will be so much. There are commentaries like this from periphery to center. India as a pivotal state shaping a post-Western world. People are already talking of a post-Western world, and India will have a say in the global order. Are we ready for it? Are we mentally ready for it? Are we mentally ready to be the senior? Are we mentally ready to be the leader? I'll give you another personal example, my own experience. This was in 2008. I'd gone to USA to do a course. This is a course where about officers from about 50 countries were there. Asian, Southeast Asian, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, India, Nepal, and many countries. No, even a Pakistani. That very Pakistani fellow used to come and drink with me because the same thing. He'll say, यार मैं तेरे साथ हूँ ना शंकर भाई, फिर तो लोग समझेंगे तो मैं भी इंडियन हूँ, मैं आपसे पी लेता हूँ. Pakistani. And Jordan, ये वो, plus people from Poland, Germany and all were there. Naturally, these Goras used to talk. So I still remember, I did made a point. So there was one Polish guy who made a silly comment, a very bad comment, and he was supported by Italian. So I kept quiet, let it pass. So the next time something happened, I was about to speak. This Polish guy made a silly comment. The Nepali, he told the instructor, and that instructor had a German lineage. He said, "Look, madam, we object to what is happening here. We would like to hear the Indian viewpoint. It affects us a hell of a lot. So if you don't allow us to speak, why are we doing the course here?" And the lady had no choice suddenly to make, oh, he said, Brigadier Shankar, please. I was a brigadier, please, your views. So I gave my views. When I gave my views, the European guys after that couldn't speak. And then, a officer from Bahrain, he says, this is analysis. And he said, don't think that people from that part of the world can't analyze. And we all look to India for strategic thought and guiding thought. So you have to understand your own strength. See, people like us who've gone abroad, been in the international systems, we've experienced it. And I can share it with you. Lukashenko, Belarus. See what he says. Last week I picked
В
this up.
мире три полюса силы. Китай, Россия, Соединенные Штаты Америки. На самом деле считают четвертой опорой и Евросоюз. Но с учетом их внутреннего раздрая и истеричных требований полюс может рухнуть. Центром нового притяжения становится Индия.
India will become the center of new attraction with the highest economic development. Increasingly, we are more confident of India than ever in my life I have seen. We need to take the development route. Leadership. Do we have that capability to assume the position of leadership? That is the challenge in front of us. Okay, infrastructure. We'll talk of it in detail tomorrow. This is that article which came out day before yesterday in Wall Street Journal about Zojila Tunnel. Equally, there's this Atal Tunnel. There is this Nyoma field. There is this Sela Tunnel. All this has happened in the past 2 years. There's more. And I'll talk of this tomorrow. Well, these are tunnels. We've operated in these areas when all these were a distant dream. Yeah, at one point of time when I was posted in Karu, okay? I was posted in Karu, which is ahead of Ladakh in the Div sector. I was in charge of the administration of every Tom, Dick and Harry there in that area. So my administrative control started in Chandigarh and finished at Siachen Glacier. So I had to keep the route open, Upshi Manali route. So, including Rohtang Tunnel, including Barala Chala and Rohtang Tunnel, in between, maximum snowfall in the world comes there. And we had to keep the routes open. It was hell, let me tell you. Every 2 hours, I used to get a report how much snow is there, not there, how much is cut, how many vehicles have passed. I'm now talking when I'm going back 20 years. How many cabbages have gone, how many onions have gone. With this tunnel, wow, things have changed completely. Sela Tunnel, things have changed completely. I can tell you stories about how I've crossed Sela Tunnel. In fact, at one point of time, I was in a place called Nuranang ahead of the Sela Tunnel. Sela Pass, Sela closed one side, and another side behind, somewhere ahead, Jung and Nuranang, the place, a bridge collapsed. Heavy snow, rain, bridge collapsed. All the vehicles, civilian vehicles in between, they got stuck. They could go nowhere. Overnight, in the course of an afternoon, I get a report. Sir, there are over 3,000 people here. They don't have food. They don't have shelter. How do we do it? I said, okay. We had stocks for about 15, 20 days. I said, open those stocks, feed them. And after for the next 4 days, I was feeding them. Uni se langar karaya, organized them to cook house. After all, these saps knew how to cook. Some ladies were there, But today, with that Sela tunnel coming up, all that is not required. It will not happen. If one bridge goes, go through Sela tunnel and get out. That Sela passes at 14,000 plus with heavy snowfall. This is at about 12,000 or 11,000, much lower. You get out. Change. Next, look at this. You fired a 3,500 kilometer of a submarine launched missile. Triad. Your military strength has gone up. Your military capability has gone up. Your military strength has gone up. I spoke of it 3 days back in Sanjay Dixit's show. You can hit anyone from any part of the world with a nuclear submarine and this missile. And you mount a nuke on it, and if you, the K5 when it comes, the K5 is equivalent to the A5, that is Agni 5, with a MIRV. That's the next step. That's where you're heading. You might not get in 26, you might get in 27. That's okay. You have a MIRV capable, that means anywhere in the world you can hit 5 to 10 targets simultaneously, and the chap won't know it has come. Your power equations have changed completely. You will see China and USA behaving. Yeah, they might have 10 times more your capacity. But in this game, you need one. And look at this. Who's worried? The Pakis. Already people are saying, oh, they've got all this, they're going to be irresponsible. Yeah, wo. Where that damn bloody missile will go up their backsides. What about space? This thing which we have done, that this is Dr. Jaishankar giving out his tweet. The heaviest rocket, missile not missile, heaviest satellite you pushed up. That means you made a complicated rocket motor. Why have we done that? That paves the way for your space station. You've done SpaceX docking earlier in the year. That is docking of 2 space satellites and undocking. You did both. You launched both, made them dock and made them undock and then dock. And then the heaviest satellite you pushed out and rocket motor. It's not simple. Huh? I deal with this in my. You have to understand the kind of all-round strength we are developing. It is just not economy. What about this 800 BrahMos? This is on the verge. Any day now you should be able to put it. As far as I know, I know some, incidentally, which I don't know if I told you or not. I was also the chief advisor to BrahMos after I retired for a year. So I know what I'm talking. We have this capability. It's only a matter of a software tweak and a few checks. Push comes to shove, we can use it. Now China is trying to get closer. Today evening also I read an article about this in US view and this and that. Things are changing at pace. And this is New Zealand, the latest guys. At a point of time, New Zealand won't look at us. Today, look at just here, and I'll tell you why I brought this fellow in.
Today is a big day for New Zealand. We have just concluded a free trade agreement with India. Now, this may not sound like a big deal for you, but trust me, it really is. And here's how you'll benefit. This is a landmark trade deal, reducing or removing tariffs on 95% of our exports to India. Of course, that makes it easier.
Right? It might not be a big deal, might not be a big thing, and their own foreign minister says it's not a good deal for them. Obviously, it's a good deal for us if it's not a good deal for them. And New Zealand is a country which was almost racist towards India. You go to New Zealand, they'll take everything out. They'll not allow any foodstuff to get in. They're very strict. Those of you who are from New Zealand will talk out. They've come to India. They don't have a choice. Earlier, these chaps were going to China. China has kicked them out for whatever reason. They have no choice. That's the next thing. And look at Noah Smith. I'll tell you about Noah Smith in 2 minutes. He says India has been the world's fastest growing major economy since 2015. Okay. I'm feeling optimistic about India's growth and development. He's written a blog. I think India can do it. You must read it. He was the guy who said what China is trying to do with India. I've discussed it. They're going to try and kneecap us. Kneecap us means they'll derail our industrial progress. At this thing. It's a fantastic article he written. Now he's talking of this. Few things he said is a faster growing economy. Yeah, China has had its time. That's over from 2015. This and earlier also I had said the same thing, 2015. The first chart I showed. GDP per capita is higher when adjusted for prices and everything, as per this chap and his calculations. And of course, he's based his calculations on international data. From 2021 onwards, as per him, the real GDP, the actual GDP, we are having a better life in India than China. Well, a lot of people will say, sorry, नहीं यार ये सब बेवकूफ है. बेवकूफ बना रहा है हमें. ठीक है, बेवकूफ बना रहा है तो बेवकूफ बना लो यार. कुछ तो हो जाओ. At least see whether China's got better GDP than you per capita or you got better GDP than him per capita. It doesn't matter. What it indicates to you is the quality of life you're leading with your salary is probably good or better or almost as good as the Chinese chap. So let's not crib about his GDP. But my take is we are leading a better life because at least you can speak. In this country, you can call Mr. Modi an idiot and still win elections tomorrow, wherever you want to stand up, if you have it in you. In China, you go call Xi Jinping an idiot. Forget standing for elections, he'll bloody cut off what is there underneath. Okay, we should know where we are. Their economy, yeah, he's given this chart, right? Remember, I've always been getting this age and time are on our side. I'm of the firm opinion age and time on our side. No one can stop us. We are the youngest of the big economies. Okay. And I just added Oman and New Zealand and Jordan in this circle. The circle slowly is becoming so small. The outer lying is so small I can't read the guys also. Of course, I know Japan, Brazil, Russia, I can keep going. This circle is becoming bigger. Today I added 2 more. Maybe by the time in 2026 when I come back, there'll be 3 more. So what you're seeing is a thing in motion. You're seeing India in motion, right? I'm very glad that we are seeing it the way it is happening. And India's rise is unstoppable. This is one of the first comments I got in the beginning. Remember, don't forget, Germany, Japan, and China were aided economies which had a huge peace dividend. We are an opposed economy. Even today, we are opposed. Someone is trying to put a spoke in our growth. We've gone through wars, we've gone through insurgencies, adverse conditions. I, on either sides, east and west, multiple sanctions, natural disasters, barriers to growth, everything. And we're going to have security challenges. Yesterday only I discussed with Sandeep Punithan in the morning. All these will not run away. Don't think we're going to have an easy time. Don't think don't have corruption, don't have illegal thing, you don't have ethnic riots. I can list all those problems. Cheats, corruption, ये सब है हमारे. इसके बावजूद हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Optimism. Okay, so I thought, let me put all this across as the year is ending. Overall, net, I can, like I said, I can talk negative about India for the next 2 hours. It's very difficult for me to talk positive about India for 1 hour because most of you will not believe it. But if I talk negative, you chaps will, like that, who's that fellow? The Dhruv Rati chap. Because he's motivated, he's got political thing and all. He talks only negative about India. And he's got 31 million subscribers. So I talk good about India, no one subscribes. This is India. Okay. Anyway, that's on a lighter note. The fact is that India is growing and there are no full stops. We are finishing 2025 on a very strong note. If you say what's going to happen in 2026, we'll be better off. We're going to have headaches. We're going to have barriers. But seeing our past performance, though past performance is not a guarantee for future thing, we'll still do well. And we'll do better than what we have done. On that, I have no doubt. With this, I've done. I'll take some questions. If you like this video, press the like button. Also, subscribe to Ghana Shot and, press that bell icon. And I'll be grateful if you join, some of you join me as members. Right? I see a lot of comments. I'm thankful to all of you. I'll try and take at least one comment from all. Yeah. Jai Hind, Hemant. Jeet, good morning. Namaste. Samrat, good evening. Ashish, good evening. 1, 2, good evening. I've already taken a thing. I have seen many international geopolitical channels where China is spreading narratives that India had a shock of a lifetime in 2025. It was trying to pitch USA against China. How ironic. That's how it is. We've not had a shock. I've shown you figures. I've shown you, right? Hardly. Don't fall for narratives. Have confidence in yourself. Yeah. And I would request all of you, show this video to your friends. I'm prepared to take on questions on what I have shown. And I'm prepared to take on questions on what I have not shown also. If you've seen for the past 2-3 months, every 15-20 days, I come out with a video of this kind. And each in a different flavor. Yeah. Why do our strategic thinkers go on their podcast and strategically communicate India's position? Yeah, we have to go. We have to go more. My problem is we are not doing enough. I think Indian people don't really see the growth in terms of job and wage growth. I disagree with you. We do see it. Not going to happen overnight. I see less unemployment than before. Right? And namaste. There are, yeah. Can we have a journalist in international media like New York Times and Washington Post to publish articles? They'll not publish it. I tried giving articles to both these and foreign affairs and all. They don't publish it. They'll publish what they want. It's agenda driven. Yeah, medical yellow first, red. Yeah. What is the mindset about failure of China? Yeah, I gave a full article. I mean, did a post on failure of Chinese weapons and all in Thailand, Cambodia, and all that. And mindset, we'll talk of it. I duly follow all sessions, but could rarely watch live due to work. Truly grateful for your insights, which aid immensely my doctoral research on India, China, US. Fine, thanks. Anytime you won't need any help, let me know. I'll. Right. Yeah, India is doing very good, General Shankar. I agree, but whenever I see our strategic experts on international media, they are unable to debate and convey our role in world properly. It's time to train. Yeah, I agree with you. That's because confidence, experience, knowledge, that's missing. Weak rupee creates inflationary pressure. That's part of the deal. Yeah, some inflation should go up, down. All these things happen. Don't worry. Russia wants to be paid in RMB, not INR. Why? Because what will they do with INR if they don't buy your items? Unfortunately, today that's the thing. That's why Mr. Putin came. He wanted to invest in trade in India. Unless there's normal trade increase in between India and Russia, this imbalance will not go. Okay. What is RMB renminbi? That is the Chinese yuan. Some Indians are unable to see India's growth due to a colonial mindset, and perhaps our opposition is also afflicted with this colonial mentality. Opposition is afflicted only one thing: how to get votes. As simple as that. Yeah, strategic experts like you are an absolute necessity to represent India on global media. Why the hell they do not consider you? You are give appropriate point without bias. Look, I don't have time. To be very honest, a lot of people approach me, but I don't go because they call you at odd times, and at times you feel I I prefer to control my own thing because I'm involved in other things also. So I do that, and this I find at my time I can do it in the morning and evening, the way I want. It's a matter of scheduling. That's it. I don't even go to Indian channels because of that. Yeah. Yeah, I have suggested your name on in some international geopolitical channels to keep India's position. I do not know whether they will call or not, but you do fantastic points. See, I have no problem. You let me know. Give me a contact. I'll get to them, and so that I can deal with them at my terms. I have no problem, really. Yeah, great analysis. Thanks a lot. Uh, should be given in good time. GOI should unofficially thank Trump. I agree with you. We'll talk tomorrow about this. Xi Jinping committed the greatest mistake for China by attacking India, and I'll justify it tomorrow. Chak De India. Yeah, that's it. Chak De, yes. I agree. Out of syllabus is the field marshal a case of making up silk plus out of a yeah, possible. Uh, yeah. Good evening, General. Thanks a lot. Pollution is a big headache. Yeah, this is something we have to deal. Look, every solution has a problem. Every problem has a solution. It's a cycle. Don't expect that you reach a stage where you have no problems at all. Okay. Indian roads get flooded and power cuts are frequent. Millions of part of life, part of growing up. Yeah, good electric train with a minimum fare of 5 rupees. Yeah, you're talking of India. Yes. I mean, Chennai. Time wasted in transiting to work, even in developed countries, is an issue due to peak times. Why has Bharat company has not implemented a better? Things will take time. They'll evolve. Don't expect people to work like they are in thing. I still see a lot of people here also doing work from home. India would be so successful if there was no corruption, so much corruption and nepotism. That will also go. You'll be surprised at how much corruption and nepotism has come down. Yeah. Mm. Yes. Okay. I don't see any great thing. Mm. Will we? Good evening, sir. True, we will catch up with China and USA too. So many changes in India. थोड़ा टेढ़ा है लेकिन आना है मेरे और आपका. Let's keep calm. Yeah, it will happen. It's a matter of. I've seen change happening in front of my eyes. That's what I'm confident of. Okay. Yeah. Have you been to Mumbai recently? Looking at the coastal ring road project and Navi Mumbai airport, it seems like this. Yeah, I'm aware of all these plans. I was part of the thing 10, 15 years back. I know what's exactly happening in Bombay. You must understand, I was the GOC of MGNG area. So I used to deal with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, who was Mr. Prithviraj Chauhan, Chief Minister of Goa, who was Mr. late Manohar Parrikar, and the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Who was he? Narendra Modi. I believe it is a growing pain. As an Indian, we should find solution instead of procrastination, which is important for a growing country. I agree with you. 100%. Okay. Quality is better. Fine. I leave it to what it is. Okay. I see. Japanese cars are cheaper and reliable and they built it in India. Yeah. That's what Germans have to learn. There's no doubt. There is a lot of efficiency we can achieve by eliminating bureaucracy and corruption, which is changing. It'll change. Don't worry. It'll change. I have no doubt. Okay. Yeah, almost all Pakistanis and Bangladeshis put up Indian names. I agree with you. They don't have. Who'll bother about them? A very motivating and inspiring, encouraging video for every Indian. As usual, it is based on hard facts and data driven. Thanks for your hangout to counter much of the negative views in it. Media is useless. We can keep talking ill about ourselves, but unless you feel good, unless you call yourself good, how will you feel good? Yeah, as simple as that. Inspiring session and praise and recognition on rise of Bharat from hardcore enemies' mouth at global arena. Yep, Singapore means Lions Island. Even if that comes from, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, our aid to Sri Lanka was very much appreciated. Yes, there's no doubt. Even Prabhu Hanuman had to be reminded of who he is. I agree with you. Thanks for holding a mirror. Sushila has invited few politicians, including KP Oli. So, what was all the See, political process will evolve. Okay. So, we leave it to them to do what they have to do. Yeah. Ritvik Patra, you see the CCP now fears India is going to be the leader of Asian culture. It's home for Sikh, Hindu, Sikh, Buddha. They fear India will be the Saudi of Sanatan Dharma, and that impacts, yeah, Tibet. Their problem is Tibet. Okay. I've had the fortune of interacting with US and Russian doctors who may not think of Indians initially, but after a brief interaction, they seek my advice every time and value it up. I agree with you. I felt a whole lot of Indians are doing very well in USA. A lot of doctors in USA are all Indian. Yeah. On that, I have no doubt. I want to see you hammer a Chinese expert on international media. Let me know where to go. I'll do that. I have no problem. Okay. I used to complain that metro is taking too long to be built. I was presently surprised at how good the service is. Oh, it's fantastic. Incidentally, when I go to the airport during daytime, nighttime, I don't use the metro. That's for other reasons, not because of the metro, but because of the connectivity to the metro from my house is a little teda at night. But daytime, I go by metro. I use metro. Not that can't afford a car. I don't have people. I find it very nice. Going into a metro in 40 minutes from my house, I am at the security check. If I've done my Digi Yatra book, all that. That's simple. उसमें थोड़ा walk भी हो जाता है. What a fantastic year-end presentation. Request you to throw light on upcoming events in 2026. We'll talk of it on first with Rajiv, right? And Dushyant. Yeah. Do ignore comments from Joy Bangla irrelevant. No, the interesting part about this fellow is he knows that he comes here. तो ज्ञान मिलता है ना उसको इधर. That's the thing. With all, see, it's not Gyan only from me. He is also reading all your comments. And he must be thinking, यार ये बांग्लादेश में क्या हो रहा है? बांग्लादेश में क्या हो रहा है? एक दूसरे को मार रहे हैं, काट रहे हैं. ये तो पीछे जा रहे हैं. That's it. Pak is not worried about our might. They are winning 1,000 cuts. Idiots. Tibetan ham guy. Sir, it is time India must shed her image portrayed in a movie called The Party. India is no longer. Yeah, Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was the guy in Party. India is no longer the bumbling character. She is now the scientist, warrior, and doctor the world needs. I completely agree with you. But if you've seen The Party at the end, Peter Sellers as the Indian succeeds. And that's acknowledged. Yeah. What would be the repercussion situation if India had caved under pressure and meant the US ceasefire claim? We would have lost our self-respect. This government would have probably fallen also by now. Yeah, saw Durandar 1. It's a smash hit. Eagerly waiting for Durandar 2. Good for you. Okay. I think I've covered 2025, my highest watched and viewed channel around 2,900 minutes. Thanks a lot, CM Car. Just tell all your friends also to join in, right? It's the only thing I can give you back. It's payback time for me to all of you. Is what the experience I've gained. There's not much difference in our knowledge. Okay, the only difference is in our experience, and that's what I have, and I can give it back. I can't take it up. India is closing on a high. 26 is going to get better. There's no doubt. You have seen India during difficult times. What do you think is the difference in the mood of the nation from then and now? Well, the mood of the nation is much better. I see youngsters doing much better, thinking better, and they have more fun-loving. We didn't have place to have fun at all. Uh, Even if you wanted to go out and eat, there were no places those days, except in a big city. Today, you go along street, you have places where you can hang out, you can do a lot of things, entertainment. It's changed. I'm glad it's changed because we are seeing a better tomorrow. Unlike USA, China doesn't have young Indian diaspora like advantage or disadvantage. Huge disadvantage. They have a diaspora in USA. It's not as if they don't have. Right? China has a diaspora in USA, and China has a diaspora in East Asia, Southeast Asia. But without, and you see, and that diaspora I have seen is constantly defending China. That's the difference. So, as a senior citizen from Chennai presently, watching from Canada, just don't enough have words to thank you for your great services in every way possible for Bharat Desha. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Enraj. So always feel so positive and energized when you talk about India's growth with facts. Thank you. Yeah, it's a fact. We have to recognize what we are. That's why I do this. I have dropped the email so that the Chinese WSJ author Shan Li linking your video, although I suspect they won't look at it. They will. You link tomorrow's thing also and send it, you'll see. I've been watching, listening you since long. Really great realistic analysis. Thanks a lot, Mohan, for joining in. And okay, have I finished with everyone? I think I have. Fine. Digital India's needs English subtitles on Hindi movies on YouTube. They get Chinese, got a good set of. Well, these are things which will evolve. Don't worry. We'll all evolve. We'll evolve. 2026, I think we'll evolve to a better tomorrow. And we'll talk of it in 2026. Right? Okay. Thanks a lot. All of you joined me. I'm grateful to all of you. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to talk about the infrastructure on the LAC and how the infrastructure, which has happened, it's not fully done. Huh? So far, what's happened has already put China at a disadvantage. As times go along, on the LAC, China will be at a greater disadvantage. And I'll explain it to you why. Right? Tomorrow morning, join me at 9 o'clock. Till then, have a great time. Enjoy yourselves. And Jai Hind to all of you.